Welcome back to another episode of Favorite Product Friday. So today I want to talk about something that I started using probably 6 to 8 months ago and has been a huge game changer in my program for my horses and for myself. I've used it for young horses, I've used it for old horses, I've used it for horses in between, horses that have different weaknesses. I've seen great results in a multitude of cases, not just in myself, but also in some of my customers. So disclaimer here, I am Phytosana rep, and today we're going to be talking about Phytosana CBD. So there's different products that Phytosana CBD has. And I guess before I go into the different products and my own personal experiences and some of the testimonials of my customers, I would like to mention that I have used CBD in the past on my horses. I honestly didn't notice as big of a result as I have with Phytosana. And after learning a little bit about CBD, I'm pretty sure I know why. So Phytosana CBD is full spectrum. Full spectrum basically means that they've used the entire plant. When you get CBD companies that are 100% TH free, they're basically pulling certain parts of the plant out and just giving you the CBD components. Now here's why that's important. CBD actually works better with trace amounts of THC. So it's not enough THC to actually have a high effect. But it's enough THC that it hits all the endocannabinoid receptors in the body. So there's a smaller fraction of receptors that are touched upon with just CBD THC free. So what I love about Phytosana and why I believe that it works far better than any other CBD product that I used is because all the past products that I used were THC free. So it was just straight CBD, right? Also, they were pelletized and just different things like that. We actually have crumbles, so it's not hard and compacted. But you kind of want trace amounts of THC to get the full benefit, right? So things that I have seen, differences I've seen in my horses. I do have some like younger neurotic, I have a really young neurotic mare. She likes to pace a lot, pace in her pen. She's just very neurotic. I don't know how else to say it. She's anxious. She gets anxious a lot. She's getting a lot better because of Phytosana. So basically what I found is I started feeding the crumbles. So these are the crumbles. They're not hard and compacted. You can actually crumble them, and hence crumbles. You can crumble them in your hand. I feed 1 scoop of that daily to all my performance horses. And then on race day, we also have a pre-performance oil. Now, there's a couple different kinds of the oil. The winner's choice oil is my favorite. So it's basically 3,000 milligrams in a bottle, and the dose comes out to like $4 a dose, you guys. Like barrel racers in particular know that anytime you give any oil or paste or anything, it's usually quite expensive, honestly. So I'm impressed with Phytosana's ability to keep the cost down and the effectiveness up. So the winner's choice oil I give also to all my performance horses pre-event, whether that's roping or barrel racing. And the dosage is actually all different for different horses. So my younger horses usually get half to 1 dropper. And what I've noticed, let's just start like with roping, for instance, because this is where I seen the biggest effect first, is I had a young rope horse that I wanted to start hauling to other places. And I went to this place where he was like the box was not great for a young horse. Like he was watchy. He didn't want to go in the box. He got really hot, typical hauling stuff and seasoning stuff that works out with time. But what I found is that the next time that I took him to the same place, I gave him some of the pre-event oil. He was cool, calm, collected, like with just a half dropper. It was like mind-blowing how different he was. And I thought, well, maybe it's just because he's already been there, and you know, so I took him to some other places and continued to give him the oil, and he has like been cool, calm, and collected almost everywhere, like not a lot of issues. So that was huge to see that. I've also used it on some of Jack's roping horses, and he thinks that it makes them score better. Now, is this going to make a horse that doesn't want to score at all score phenomenally? I can't really claim that, but what I can tell you is that if you're just feeling it like your horse is a touch off, or just kind of getting anxious in the box, or really wanting to anticipate, this is going to give you that edge that you need, and you will notice a difference. Like sometimes figuring out the dose takes a little bit of time, but I'm telling you, you will notice a difference. So now let's talk about some other cases that I have. Like I have Bug, my good mare. I've struggled a lot of years with her, getting her in the gate. And I think in the past it was an ulcer issue, and I just wasn't equipped nor knowledgeable enough to know what the issue was, and I didn't get on top of it. So then it became a habit, right? So I was able to get the ulcer stuff squared away. We had her scoped, no ulcers, all the things, right? Everything's good. She was still hesitant. She still had some panic moments where she didn't want to go in. And if I whip her, I can get her in, but I feel bad doing that, you know? So, and I don't want to fight her. Like I wanted her to want to go in. So I actually use quite a bit on her. So if I load up to go somewhere close, I give her a dropper when I put her in the trailer, and she's a bad hauler. Like she kicks the crap out of the trailer, like all of that, right? So she hauls better when I give it to her. I give her one dropper 2 hours out, and then I usually hit her with another dropper or half dropper about an hour out. One dropper wasn't quite enough. So I just want you guys to know, like dosing wise and stuff, like I really want to give you my personal testament of this, because you do have to play around with it a little bit, but you will notice a difference if you're doing the timing right, and you find that perfect, you know, that perfect recipe for your horse. But needless to say, she is walking flat-footed in the gate. I've wanted to really wait to make sure this was going to be a lasting thing before I went, you know, touting all about it. But she's been walking solid flat-footed in the gate for over a month, which is huge for her. I used to not be able to like warm her up and stand by the gate. And the other day at Sunnyside, I didn't realize they had a bunch of peewees, and I was like fourth out, and I went and I like warmed her up, and then it was like a long wait, right? Usually that would be a fight, like it would be like a total fight with her. Well, it wasn't. Like it was, I warmed her up, I stood her by the gate, and then I walked her in, and she went in flat-footed. There you go, buddy. All life. So that's been huge, like super huge for her. I want to share one more thing with her. She has really, really hard heat cycles, like super hard heat cycles, to the point where she's kind of almost like tied up, and I've had to give her Banamine. And I had entered a race, one of the fast track qualifiers in Arizona, and she came into heat like a couple days before that. And she runs terrible in heat, like super, super terrible in heat. Well, I just kept giving her the same dose, thinking, she's fine, right? Well, she ran terrible, like so terrible. And I could tell she was in a lot of pain. So I entered another one, and sure enough, she's in heat again. And I'm like, well, I wonder if I just double up on my CBD if there will be a difference. So the previous race, she was like, I don't know, over a second off. Like it was not where we wanted to be. So this last time, same kind of situation, and I doubled up the dose, and I was actually 3/10 off of the fastest challenger with her in full-blown heat. So that's another thing, like if your horse struggles with heat problems, inflammation, I keep my head horse on this. He's a little bit older, and I just noticed that he's more, he moves more fluid and does better on it than off of it. I've heard all sorts of great feedback from people with young horses. I've had mounted shooters that try it, barrel racers, team ropers, all seem to notice a difference. So, that's kind of the gist on the horse side of things. So there is, you know, a little bit lesser oil too. Like if you don't want to spend as much, you have to give more of it. But the winner's choice oil is what I recommend. And then the crumbles come in 3 different size bags. So we have a big bag, a medium bag, and a small bag. And like I said, I feed that daily and then move to the oil for pre-event. Then the last thing I want to talk about, well, not the last thing, but the second to last thing. So the gummies. Now, when I started seeing the difference that the CBD was making in my horses, I was kind of like, I wonder what effect that's having. So I started getting really nervous when I started back to barrel racing a little bit, and I've still kind of like been working through that. And so I decided I was going to try some of the human CBD for myself. So I gave myself one, they're little gummies, and I took one myself 2 hours out. So do you ever notice when you I'm sure other people have experienced this, but like in a barrel racing run, like you have to stay focused for like 17 seconds, right? Or less. So I would notice in my runs that I would blank out in the middle of the pattern. So I would like know what I was doing to the first barrel, but then like the second and third would like blank, right? Like I'm come back and be like, what happened? Have to watch the video, right? Well, I noticed when I took the CBD, I did not blank out. I was present for the entire run, and it's almost like it slowed things down for me, and it took away the sweaty hands and the pounding heart, and all of that. So when I did that myself, I was like, wow, that's what it's doing for the horses, and that's why they're able to perform at a higher level with less stress and anxiety, is because it's really just slowing everything down and helping them stay present. We also have dog and other pet oils. So the dog chews, I've heard really great feedback. Dozer's been struggling with some arthritis, so I actually am going to start him on that, and I will keep you guys posted on that. But as far as people that have already tried it, they've noticed significant effects as well and results, and I have continual customers from that. So I just wanted to share my experience with Phytosanta CBD. I am a dealer, like I said, so I can drop ship, I can order, like if you're local, wherever I'm at the moment, I can do that. I usually keep it on hand now, so if you see me at a race or roping or something and you want to give it a try, then let me know, and I promise you will not be disappointed. I truly believe this is the best CBD on the market and the best price, and I'm willing to stand by that. So thank you guys for tuning in to this episode of Favorite Product Friday, and I'll catch you later. Thanks. Bye.
Ridin on a Dream or Road is based on the wisdom that every problem has a solution, and that by putting more attention on the solution, it naturally reveals itself. Our goal is to assist you in creating a habit of finding adventure and solving problems for yourself, your equine partners, and everyone around you, so that we can all unleash our fullest potential. The products featured in Favorite Product Friday are all products I have tested, shared, and believe in. I may receive compensation from sharing them, and only do so because I truly believe they may be a potential solution to others' problems.